Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Kombumerri people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Monday, September 9. In Squiz Kids Today, Australia's Golden Paralympics. Typhoon Yagi wreaks havoc. Saturn's rings disappearing act and the bear that came for a swim. That's what's making news, kids style.
The Lowdown.
Did you wake up early this morning to watch the closing ceremony of the Paris Paralympics? What a spectacle it was, and what a remarkable Paralympics it has been for Australia's athletes and every Paralympian from around the world. At the end of day 10 yesterday, Australia was sitting in 9th position on the medal tally, with China, Britain and the United States in 1st, 2nd and 3rd place respectively. Australian kayaker Curtis McGrath led the golden charge on day 10 for the Aussies, picking up his 3rd gold medal for the Games. Yes, folks, that's 3 gold medals. Aussie sprinter James Turner turned it on the athletics track too, taking his 2nd gold for the Games in the men's 100-metre T36 final. And if you missed Aussie swimmer Alexa Leary's record-breaking efforts from Friday, do yourself a favour and look them up. She's Australia's new national sporting heroine. Madison de Rosario is going for gold this morning as we go to air in the women's marathon before the closing ceremony takes place, which will see James Turner and Lauren Parker, dual gold medalist in 2 separate para events, carry the flag for Australia. Aussie para athletes, you have done us all so proud.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Vietnam and its neighbouring country the Philippines and China, where Typhoon Yagi has smashed these countries and left a trail of destruction. A typhoon is essentially a cyclone. In our part of the world we call them cyclones. In the Indian or Western Pacific Oceans they're called typhoons, and in the Northern Hemisphere around the Caribbean Sea they're called hurricanes. Same big weather event, different name. Typhoon Yagi smashed into the coastline of Vietnam's northern provinces over the weekend, sweeping boats out to sea and uprooting trees. Meanwhile, over in the Caribbean, despite weather forecasters predicting a record season for hurricanes, it's been eerily quiet. Eerie is a fancy word for strange, but in an unsettling way. The seas in the Caribbean are unusually calm for this time of year, which has meteorologists worried this is simply the calm before the storm. Literally.
Animal Kingdom.
While it's been eerily quiet in the Caribbean, it's been stinking hot in California, on the west coast of the United States. So hot, in fact, that bears have been coming out of the woods and cooling off in kiddie wading pools. A family in Monrovia have captured on video a big black bear cooling off in their backyard wading pool, looking like he hasn't got a care in the world. They call him Snaggle because he has a tooth hanging out the side of his mouth. And yes, I've stuck a link to the video in today's episode notes. I tell you what, if a bear that big came into my backyard and decided it wanted to hop in my pool, I'd be saying, be my guest. Ain't no way I'd be taking on Snaggle.
Spaced out.
Red alert! Red alert! Saturn's famous rings are disappearing before our very eyes. But don't worry, they'll be back soon enough, as the planet prepares for a once-every-30-year event that sees it tilt on its axis so that its famous rings are briefly invisible to us down here on Earth. So, you know Saturn, right? The planet in our solar system that has rings around it, made up of pieces of comets, asteroids, and shattered moons. Well, it's tilted on its axis, just like our planet Earth. And every 30 years or so, which is how long it takes Saturn to orbit the Sun, it's on a tilt that means the rings are directly lined up, level to one another in a line between us and the sun, such that the rings briefly disappear from view down here on Earth. Now, it's all expected to happen in March next year, with the rings returning soon afterwards. Boom! That, my friends, is the sound of my mind being blown. Hey kids, what do you have planned for the school holidays? Can I suggest you work in a bit of bounce into your plans? Get yourself and your friends to your nearest bounce indoor action adventure playground and join their holiday camp. Spend time with a coach honing your skills, refuel with a fruit platter, and create some awesome holiday memories with an hour of free time. And mums and dads, the best bit, it's a drop and run affair. Win back your morning and get your kids out of the house and active with some freestyle fun. Check out a Bounce holiday camp via their website bounceinc.com.au. Yes, there it is, folks. The lilting call of seagulls at the beach, reminding us that school holidays are almost here. Starting next week, we're in school holiday mode here at Squiz Kids for a brief fortnight, meaning bumper school holiday quizzes plus every Tuesday to Friday, Christy's famous Squiz Kids daily brain teaser. She poses a riddle in this podcast feed at 7 a.m, posts a clue to our socials around midday, and then drops the answer in this podcast feed again at 2:30 p.m, just to keep your brain cogs turning during the break. Subscribe to Squiz Kids in your favourite podcasting app to make sure you don't miss a thing.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What's the name of the typhoon hammering Southeast Asia? Did you say Yagi? Well done to you. Question number 2. What do they call cyclones that happen in and around the Caribbean Sea in the Northern Hemisphere? That's right, they call them hurricanes. Question number 3. Which planet's rings will be disappearing soon from view? Yeah, of course, it's Saturn.
Shout-outs.
It's Monday, September 9. Today is World Electric Vehicle Day. And also, as we go to air, Italy's Yannick Sinner is taking on America's Taylor Fritz in the men's final of the US Open. It's also a special day today for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today and tomorrow. Oscar from Ivanhoe, Samuel from Dubbo, Emily from Burpengary, Odin from Evans Head, Hayley from Schofields, Isaac from Cannon Hill, Harrison from Grasmere, and Millie from Goodna. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Manny from Clyde North, Ryder from Jerilderie, and Alexander from Picton. And today's classroom shout-outs go to Class 4-5M with Miss McFarlane at Mount Riverview Public School in the Blue Mountains. To Class 4-RB with Mrs. Broadbent and Mrs. Rubnik at Antonio Catholic School in Morfett Vale. To Class 5-6 with Mrs. Davey at St. Patrick's Primary School in Walker. To Year 3-4 Adventurers with Ms. Edwards at Bald Blair Public School. And finally to Class 5B with Ms. Bai at Gumdale State School. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout-out, or if you're after a classroom shout-out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow with one of our favourite Squiz Kids shortcuts. This one is on the world's toughest animals. It's a cracker. In the meantime, though, get out there and have yourselves a most excellent day. Over and out.